Your parents bought their first home in their late 20s. You're 32, make decent money, do everything right. And you can't even get close. This isn't a motivation problem. It isn't a spending problem. It is a structural problem. And it was decades in the making. The rules of the game changed, and nobody told you. In 1980, the median home price in the United States was around $47,000. The median household income was about $21,000. That means a home cost roughly 2 years of income. Today, the median home price is over $400,000. The median household income is around $56,000. That's more than 7 years of income. 7 years, just to break even on the purchase price. That's before interest, before property taxes, before the roof leaks. You've probably felt this. You look at listings and feel something in your stomach drop. You think maybe if you just saved a little harder, cut a little more, waited a little longer. But the math keeps getting worse. Every year you wait, prices climb. Every year you save, the gap widens. It's like trying to catch a train that's already left the station. And here's the thing, nobody is saying out loud. This isn't happening by accident. There are forces in this system, real, structural forces, that made housing into something it was never supposed to be. And until you understand them, you're running a race on a tilted track. Meet Ashley. She's 31 years old, lives in Austin, Texas, and works in marketing for a mid-sized tech company. She earns $68,000 a year. Good money by most measures. After taxes, she takes home about $4,400 a month. Her rent is $1,750 for a one-bedroom apartment. Not extravagant. Not luxurious. Just a clean, safe place to live. She pays $420 a month toward her student loans, a degree she needed to get the job that earns the money she's trying to save. Her car payment is $340. She bought used, did it right. Groceries, utilities, insurance, phone. Another $800. That leaves her roughly $1,090 a month. She's been saving diligently for 3 years. She has just over $28,000 in savings. To buy a median-priced home in Austin, she'd need a 20% down payment, about $85,000. She's less than a third of the way there, and while she's been saving, Austin home prices have risen by over 40%. The target keeps moving. She did everything the advice said to do. She went to college, she got the degree, she got the job. She stopped buying lattes. She actually stopped. And she is further from owning a home today than she was 3 years ago. Ashley is not a failure. Ashley is a mirror. She reflects what millions of young Americans are experiencing right now. A growing sense that the rules they were taught no longer apply. Here's the first thing nobody tells you. The housing market was deliberately flooded with money. After the 2008 financial crisis, the Federal Reserve did something radical. They cut interest rates to near zero and kept them there for years. The idea was to stimulate the economy, make borrowing cheap, encourage spending, get things moving again. And it worked. Sort of. But cheap money doesn't flow equally to everyone. When rates are near zero, people with capital, people who already own assets, can borrow almost for free. They can take out loans at 2% or 3% and buy more real estate. They can leverage their existing wealth to acquire more wealth. Meanwhile, a 28-year-old trying to buy their first home, they don't have assets to borrow against. They're starting from zero. And here's where it gets darker. All that cheap money had to go somewhere. Investors, both individual and institutional, looked around for returns. Savings accounts were earning almost nothing. Bonds were paying almost nothing. So capital flowed into real estate. Real estate became not just a place to live, it became a financial instrument. By 2022, institutional investors owned an estimated 3 to 5 million single-family homes in the United States. Companies like Invitation Homes, BlackRock-backed entities, and thousands of smaller private equity firms were buying up houses, entire neighborhoods, to rent them back to the people who couldn't afford to buy. Think about what that means. Every home that becomes a rental unit is a home removed from the buyer's market. Supply shrinks, prices rise, more people rent. Rent rises. It's a feedback loop, and it feeds itself. Ashley isn't losing to other first-time buyers. She's losing to capital, but there's a second force at work, and it's even harder to see. Wages have not kept up. Between 1979 and 2019, productivity in the United States rose by about 72%. Workers became dramatically more efficient, more skilled, more valuable. Worker compensation, adjusted for inflation, rose by about 17%. 17% over 40 years. That gap between what workers produce and what they're paid went somewhere. It went to shareholders. It went to asset prices. It went to the people who owned things, not the people who made things. And housing became the perfect vessel for that wealth transfer. Consider this. In the 1960s, a factory worker in Detroit could reasonably expect to buy a home, raise a family, and retire on a single income. Not because they were exceptional, because the system was structured to allow it. Today, a dual-income household with 2 college degrees in the same city struggles to afford a starter home. This isn't about lifestyle inflation. People love to say young people spend too much on avocado toast and streaming subscriptions. Let's do the math. If Ashley canceled Netflix, Spotify, and every subscription she has, she'd save maybe $80 a month. In 10 years, that's $9,600. The median home in Austin went up $60,000 last year alone. The problem is not the subscriptions. Take another story. Derek is 38, lives in Phoenix, and drives for a rideshare company full-time. He brings in about $42,000 a year. More in summer, less in winter. He's tried to save, but the instability makes it almost impossible. 1 month his car needs repairs. The next, his hours drop. He can't get a mortgage anyway. Lenders want stable, documented income. The gig economy was sold as freedom. What it actually created was a permanent renter class. People with no path to ownership, no safety net, no way to build equity. And Derek knows it. He works more hours than his father ever did, and he has less to show for it. Now let's zoom out. Because this is where it gets structural. There are 2 ways to build wealth in America. The first is income. You trade your time and skills for money. The second is asset appreciation. You own something that grows in value while you sleep. Here's the brutal truth. Income is taxed heavily. Assets are not. If Ashley earns $68,000 in salary, the government takes roughly a third in taxes. If someone inherits a house worth $400,000 and sells it for $600,000, they pay capital gains tax, typically 15% on the profit. The system actively rewards owning over earning. And here's the compounding effect that makes this matter so much. When you own a home, several things happen simultaneously. Your mortgage payment, unlike rent, builds equity. Your home appreciates over time. You get tax deductions on mortgage interest. You build a credit history and collateral for future loans. You have a stable place from which to plan your life. When you rent, none of that happens. You pay. The landlord builds equity. You get nothing. Every year you rent, the homeowner's position strengthens. Every year you rent, your position stays the same. The gap doesn't just persist, it compounds. And here's a story that illustrates it perfectly. 2 brothers, let's call them Ryan and Tyler. In 2015, Ryan bought a small house in Nashville for $210,000. Tyler wasn't ready, kept renting, figured he'd buy later. By 2024, Ryan's house is worth $430,000. He has $180,000 in equity. He used that equity to buy a second property. Tyler has a savings account with $41,000 in it. Same family. Same starting line. One understood the rules, one didn't. Ryan didn't earn more. He bought assets earlier. That's the game. Here's what all of this is really pointing to. The biggest factor in whether you can afford a home today isn't your income. It isn't your discipline. It isn't even the city you live in. It's when you were born and what your family already owns. Studies show that first-time homebuyers who receive financial help from family, a gift for a down payment, a cosigner, an inheritance, are significantly more likely to purchase a home in their 20s or early 30s. Those who don't receive that help wait years longer, pay more, or never buy at all. We call this the bank of mom and dad, and it's become one of the most important financial institutions in America. Not because parents are more generous than they used to be, but because the barrier to entry has grown so high that family wealth has become the most reliable bridge across it. Think about what that means for social mobility. If your parents owned a home, you have a better chance of owning one. If they didn't, you're swimming upstream against rising prices, stagnant wages, and a system that rewards capital over labor. We've built an economy that converts existing wealth into more wealth, and existing poverty into more poverty. And we keep telling young people that they just need to work harder. But Ashley works hard. Derek works hard. Working hard was supposed to be enough. The deeper realization isn't just about housing. It's about what housing represents. It represents stability. It represents equity. It represents a foundation from which you take risks, raise children, build a future. When that foundation is locked behind a barrier, most people can't cross. Something breaks. Not just economically, psychologically. A 2023 survey found that 72% of millennials say they don't believe they'll ever be able to afford a home. 72%. That's not pessimism. That's pattern recognition. They've watched the numbers. They've run the math. They've done what they were told. And the conclusion they've reached, rationally, correctly, is that the ladder has been pulled up. We live in a society that still tells the story of meritocracy. Work hard. Be smart. Make good choices. And the rewards will follow. But the housing market has become a monument to something else entirely. It shows us what the system actually rewards. Not effort, not intelligence, not discipline, timing, and inheritance. Ashley will keep saving. Derek will keep driving. And somewhere across town, a real estate investment trust will buy another 12 houses off market and list them for rent by Monday. The people who understand this system, who see the rules clearly, aren't necessarily bad people. Many of them just started on a different square of the board. They inherited wealth that bought time. Time that bought assets. Assets that bought more assets. That's the loop. And the loop is self-reinforcing. So what do you do with that knowledge? You stop blaming yourself for a structural problem. You stop thinking the answer is just one more sacrifice, one more year of waiting, one more budget tweak. You start seeing the system for what it is. Not broken. Working exactly as designed. Designed in the 1970s and 1980s by people who made decisions about monetary policy, tax law, and zoning regulations. That still govern your life today. The most dangerous thing you can believe is that the game is fair. Because when you believe the game is fair, you assume that falling behind means you're doing something wrong. You internalize the failure. You grind harder. You blame yourself. and the system continues. The people who win aren't the ones who sacrifice the most. They're the ones who understand what's actually happening. That understanding won't hand you a house, but it might be the beginning of something more important, a clear picture of the world you're actually living in.